All right, so for this video, I'm going to cover how you get started with your video recorded responses and when you enter the Vidcruiter system. I'm first going to start out by doing an actual demonstration of the Vidcruiter platform using a mock application that we created for this purpose. And then I'll go over the slides with a couple of the tips and tricks and things to remember when you're trying to get started with this platform. So what you see on the screen is what comes up when I click on the link to access Vidcruiter. And the first thing it's asking me to do is to verify that I'm ready to play some videos because there's an autoplay feature built in. So I'm just going to click here. And what's going to happen is it's automatically going to start playing the first video, which is a welcome message from the Dean of the College of Education. So feel free, you can watch the video. It's also written out. But basically, you want to kind of keep going down. A lot of the information that's shown up here is what we've already covered in the presentation slides. So if you've already looked into it, then you can probably just go down and start filling out what you need to get started. The actual questions might vary a little bit depending on which program you're applying to, but just make sure that you're using the email address you used in your application. And if you want to, because you can come back into the system, so let's say you don't start and finish it all in one go, you will want to remember what you filled out on this form so that you can come back and re-enter and pick up where you left off. So make sure that you write it down somewhere, keep it handy just in case that happens. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it out with my email. You just need to confirm it, so write it one more time. Show us which island you're going to be on. If you're not in Hawaii, you can write in your state or your country. The track will be different depending on the program you're selecting. So that one will just depend. We sometimes will ask which grade level. If you're already working in a Hawaii public school, then when you select yes, it'll actually give you the option to describe what your position is. So for example, when I was in the Hawaii Department of Education, I was a special education resource K-2 teacher at Pearl Harbor Elementary School. Okay, so that just shares a little bit more information for us. And then you just have to verify that you understand that this is a live recording. It's recording you as you go, and that you can't kind of navigate forward or back. So once you complete things, you have to go in the order that they are in. Make sure to read over the privacy and disclosure consent form, and as long as you're okay with that, you just need to check this box that says I agree to the terms of use and privacy policy and push save and next. But before I do that, one of our favorite features of this platform is the fact that they have 24/7 tech support on every single page. So it's really easy to find and access. It's always at the bottom. And you can just click this button that says send us a message and you'll immediately get someone that can help you. So if you're running into any issues at any point throughout this process, please reach out to them because that's a wonderful feature of what we get for having paid for this service. Okay. So it's going to start playing again. So now we're on the mock Vidcruiter practice site. So it's going to give you an overview of the platform. So you can watch a video that kind of just talks about what it is. They even have tips and things for you here as well. So we covered some in our presentation, but you can look over these. And then you're going to test your recording equipment. So the most important thing is that you want to test it in the same environment that you're planning on doing your actual responses in. Because let's say you do this part while you're at work and then you come home later to do the actual questions, then you're not going to be able to see how the sound is, how the lighting is, if it's working properly. So make sure that you test your recording equipment in the space that you plan to be in for your video recorded responses. That way you can check all of those things at the same time. And so when you're ready, what you'll do is you just push open recorder and you're going to record yourself counting to 5. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And you can push the start button when you're ready and it'll record you. And for these purposes, because it's more important that you're testing everything out. So look at what's around you. Is there anything distracting? Maybe remove it. How's the lighting? Can you see it clearly enough? And then you'll be able to check to see if you can hear everything. And you're given 10 chances, and you don't have to use all 10, but it's just a way for you to kind of go through the process and check everything out to make sure that it's working, and you can even use it to kind of get comfortable. So I'm going to push start recording when I'm ready. It's going to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then push the button whenever you want it to stop. So even though you can see there's a timer on the top and I have 5 minutes to do this, obviously it doesn't take you 5 minutes to count to 5. So don't feel like you have to uncomfortably sit and wait for the timer to run out. There will always be the button to just go ahead and stop. And so you can use that at any point during your responses. If you've completed what you want to say and you're done, just go ahead and push stop. And then so what happens is that it's automatically done. And if you come back down, for this purpose, and only for these purposes, can you actually watch it back to make sure that it's working properly. So you do want to watch yourself. Okay, so I'm not going to watch the whole thing again, but I was checking for the sound. Does the sound work properly? Is it clear? And then you can also do another check for the lighting and the background to make sure it's not distracting. Oh, maybe I want to remove something. How do I look? Do I look professional? Things of that nature. So if it wasn't really working, or you wanted to change something, maybe you changed what's in the background, or you moved around, maybe you went to a different part of your house, then re-record it. So try it again. Do it again until you find something that works for you, is comfortable, and everything is working the way it should. Down here, you also have some more tips and things to make sure that it goes well and that you're successful. And so they have a lot of information here, and basically you just want to look over everything when you have time, make sure that you're comfortable, your internet's working. I will say, before I did this demo, I had to go in and close. I had a bunch of different apps and windows and everything open, and it was really making my connection lag. So sometimes it's really good idea to try and clear out as much as you can on your computer so that it doesn't prevent you from having a stronger connection. But once you've done that and you've tested things out and your audio's good, your video is clear, there's enough lighting, everything looks okay, then just go down here. You just want to say, yes, I watched the tutorial, I tested it out, and I can see myself and I can hear myself, and I'm ready for the practice question. So the first mock one, to count to 5, really doesn't give you the experience of practicing answering a question. That was really just a short way to see if everything's working. So once you're done with this, you do get another opportunity to just practice answering a question. Okay, so again, down here you see technical difficulty. So let's say you re-recorded 10 times and it's still not working for you. Reach out to them, connect with them, let them know, and they can help troubleshoot. But if everything works and you're satisfied with it, go ahead and push save and next. Okay, so here we are. Now we're in the mock question. This time you don't get to re-record because we want you to get the experience of what it's going to be like in the actual video recorded responses. So you'll have 2 minutes for this one and all the ones thereafter. And you'll just get to experience what it really will be like. But this question is not rated by our faculty. So this is just a practice attempt so that you can kind of experience it more in a more real setting for what you're going to do in the actual interview. So, okay, so again, they kind of give you some reminders of things to do. And then when you're ready for the practice one, say open recorder. Okay, so there's a timer and you're going to see a video. Okay, so we got to see a faculty member, a UH Manoa SPED faculty member, asking the question, and it's written on the screen so that you can refer back to it. So you don't have to worry about, oh gosh, what was the question again? I don't remember. So I always tell people, you know, when you're doing this, it's really good to, it's only 10 minutes, but when you hear the question, you have a 30 second prep time. You can use it. So think about your answers, write it down somewhere. And then once the 30 seconds is over, my favorite childhood memory was when I la 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 la. I remember it because it was this and it really left an impression on me. I wish I could go back and be in that time again. Okay, so practice the question. Again, if you finish early, you can stop recording and save it. Another thing I'll point out is the 30-second prep time. Maybe you don't need that 30-second prep time. You can also stop it and just move straight into recording your answer. So you have a lot of control in terms of stopping it. So if you want to, you know, that will help you proceed through this a little bit faster. Okay, so again, you do get to practice this one. It's a mock question, but just know that in the real one, you don't get that. You don't have 10 chances to record one answer. You're just going to get that one chance. So if you need to, you can try it again. Okay, so again, it's going to load it so that you can check it out and make sure everything's good. And just like you're counting 1 to 5, if you want to re-record, you can practice again. And you can do it up to 10 times. Now, obviously, this is a little bit different than the real one because you're not going to be able to do that 10 times. But the purpose of this mock one is just to kind of get familiar with the process. So maybe you answer it a little bit differently each time, but start thinking to yourself, what's going to help me? Should I just jot down 1 or 2 things that I want to remember to be able to answer that question? Does that work better? Should I smile more? Should I stand up straighter or sit up straighter? Anything like that. And again, maybe you record it once and you're fine and you just move on. So it really is different depending on, you know, the comfort level of everybody who's doing it, but this is just an opportunity for you to really practice it. Okay. And so they're going to ask, are you ready? And you have to say that you understand that everything's working again, that you're only going to get one chance from this point forward, that everything's working and you're ready to record. Okay. And once those are done, you can push save and next, and it'll go into the actual questions, which we'll be covering in our other set of these slides. So let me switch now and go to the actual slides that I prepared to help with getting set up so I can cover a couple of the things that we wanted to remind everyone of. Sorry, let me move this. Okay. So the first thing to note is that Vidcruiter can actually be accessed from a phone, a computer, or a tablet. However, we do find that it's highly recommended that you use a laptop or a desktop computer, mostly because there's the 30-minute typed essay, which is really hard to do if you don't have a keyboard. Although some people are pretty fast on their phone, but you kind of want it, the essay part especially, to feel like how you would feel when you would normally write a paper for class. But there's not to say maybe you don't have a camera on your computer. And so maybe it's better for you to use your phone for the video recorded responses, and then you switch to a computer and log back in for your essay. That would be fine as well. Just note that if you're going to use your phone especially, that One good trick is to turn it onto airplane mode and then re-put on your Wi-Fi. And what that does is it prevents you from getting all those phone calls, text messages, and everything that could interrupt you in the middle of a response. So if you do have to use a phone or a tablet, that is a recommendation to help prevent some of those distractions that might come up. So here again, we saw it on the previous demo, but you got to start out by setting up your account and making sure you write things down so that if you do come back to it at a later time, you can access it again and you don't have to start all over. And then you test your recording equipment to make sure that everything's running smoothly. Definitely just make sure that you're in a place that's free of distractions. We do recommend not recording in like your car or even outside. Some people will record outside, like under a tree, and there's just a lot of background noise sometimes that makes it really hard to understand or hear your responses clearly. If you do have to record it somewhere that might not be completely sound free, then perhaps use some headphones to reduce the external noise if possible. And like I mentioned earlier, it does help to kind of get rid of all the other things that could be running on your system in the background, whether it's on your phone or your computer. Try to close down things that you don't need so that it's not taking up as much memory on your device, and that'll make it go a little bit more smoothly. Try the mock question and the practice for the counting to 1 to 5. So you kind of do it twice. You can practice up to 10 times so you can get comfortable. But really, again, remember that this is to check your lighting, to check your sound, your camera angle, things like that. And definitely utilize the 24/7 tech support if you need it. So whether it's setting it up in the very beginning, or maybe you just run into a problem like at some point while you're in it, you can still reach out to them. What's great about their services is that they notify us when something happens, and they can even tell us, hey, this applicant got cut off or they lost their connection. Can you resend them that question so they can redo it? So again, reaching out to them puts it on our radar that something happened, and because it's 24/7, it doesn't matter when you're doing it, there will be somebody there to help you. And so you can always access them using that button at the very bottom of every single page in Vidcruiter. So lastly, just some primary pearls of wisdom for our Project Equal Access grant is there's 3. So I would say make sure that you're making the time to complete this process. Choose a day and time that gives you that uninterrupted, dedicated time. You don't want to do this right before you have to go to an appointment or when you know there's going to be a lot of people coming in and out. Try to find a good time where you can just focus on doing this. If you are doing it at home and you have other people who live with you, just letting them know what you're doing and telling them, please don't enter. I can't re-record it. Sometimes it's not that it was an accident or anything like that, but just letting them know ahead of time will prevent those accidents from happening. Also, dress the part. And we kind of think of it as you don't need to wear a full-on suit, but dress as if you were a teacher and you were going to an interview in a school, with a principal or something like that, and speak as if you were in a real interview. Like even just right now, my words got cut up. I didn't really like what I was saying, but that happens. Okay, and I'm going to keep it there. I'm not going to edit it because it's natural and we expect those things to happen. It's not like you're going to have a perfectly scripted interview when you do this because you can't re-record. And try to remember that you are speaking to someone. Our faculty are going to be there and they're reviewing it. So smile, be yourself. Let that shine through because it's not like it's a computer that's going to be going over it. It's real people. So that we want to see you. And the last part is set the scene, right? And so really thinking about, yes, we are focusing on you, but if there are other things in your screen behind you that are very distracting or moving or anything like that, then that'll just take away from your interview and what you're saying. Also, a trick is that oftentimes the desks are low and your computer and your camera is pretty low. I actually have my laptop sitting on about 4 books. So I have it higher up because you want your camera to be kind of level with your eye. That way the angle's not really like high or low. You're not looking up your nose or anything like that. So if you can, try to prop up whatever you're using for your camera to be at eye level, because it's more natural looking when you're recording yourself. So hope that helps. And this was just a setup. We'll do another video related to the actual question.